In the spring of 1900, a violent storm drove a group of Greek sponge divers to seek shelter near the tiny island of Antikythera, nestled between Crete and the Peloponnese. When the skies cleared, one diver named Elias Stadiatis decided to explore the waters below. What he found would change our understanding of ancient technology forever. At a depth of about 140 feet, Stadiatis spotted a massive pile of bronze statues, marble sculptures, and ancient pottery. He had stumbled upon an ancient Roman shipwreck that had lain undisturbed for over 2,000 years. The divers immediately alerted the Greek government, and the world's first major underwater archaeological expedition was launched. Over the next year, countless treasures were hauled from the depths. But among these spectacular finds, one object went almost completely unnoticed. It was a small, corroded lump of bronze and wood, about the size of a shoebox, encrusted with 2 millennia of marine growth. The corroded lump sat in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens for over a year before anyone looked closely at it. Then, in May 1902, archaeologist Valerios Stais noticed something extraordinary. The lump had dried out and cracked open, revealing the unmistakable outline of a precision-cut bronze gear embedded inside. A gear. In a 2,000-year-old shipwreck. This was impossible. According to everything historians knew, gears of this complexity did not appear until the 14th century, over 1,400 years later. Stais published his findings, and the archaeological community was baffled. Some dismissed it as a much later object that had somehow fallen into the wreck. Others suggested it was a navigational instrument, perhaps a sophisticated astrolabe. But no one could explain how ancient Greeks could have manufactured precision bronze gears. For most of the 20th century, the Antikythera mechanism sat quietly in its museum case, its inner workings hidden beneath layers of corrosion. Then in the 1970s, British science historian Derek de Sala Price finally got permission to X-ray the fragments. What those first X-rays revealed stunned the scientific world. Inside that shoebox-sized device were at least 27 precisely cut bronze gears, arranged in a complex differential gear train. The largest gear was 5 inches across with 223 teeth. Price realized this was no simple astrolabe. This was an analog computer, designed to calculate the positions of celestial bodies. By turning a single hand crank, the user could set a date and the mechanism would compute the positions of the Sun, Moon, and the 5 known planets. It could predict solar and lunar eclipses decades in advance. It even tracked the 4-year cycle of the ancient Olympic Games. Price published his findings in a landmark paper titled simply, Gears from the Greeks. In 2005, an international team led by Mike Edmonds and Tony Freeth took the investigation to a whole new level. Using a custom-built 8-ton X-ray tomography machine originally designed for jet engine turbine blades, the team scanned every surviving fragment at microscopic resolution. The results rewrote everything. The mechanism did not just have 27 gears. It had at least 37 bronze gears, possibly more. The team also found thousands of tiny inscribed characters on the bronze plates, invisible to previous researchers. These inscriptions turned out to be a detailed user manual. This is the question that has haunted researchers for over a century. Who was the genius who designed this machine? The most compelling theory points to the Greek island of Rhodes, home to a thriving school of astronomy and mechanical engineering in the 2nd century BC. The philosopher Posidonius built a working orrery, a mechanical model of the solar system, on Rhodes around 100 BC. The Roman orator Cicero described seeing such a device and credited it to Posidonius. Cicero also mentioned an even earlier device built by Archimedes. Some experts propose Hipparchus of Rhodes as the mechanism's designer. Hipparchus was the greatest astronomer of the ancient world. He discovered the precession of the equinoxes and created the first comprehensive star catalogue. The mechanism's eclipse prediction dial uses his lunar cycles. Perhaps the most haunting question is not who built it, but what happened to the knowledge it represented. After the mechanism sank around 60 BC, we see no evidence of comparable mechanical complexity for over 14 centuries. The Romans, who absorbed Greek science wholesale, left no trace of similar devices. Europe's medieval clockmakers in the 14th century were the first to independently reinvent precision gear trains, but their earliest astronomical clocks were enormous room-sized devices, not pocket-sized wonders. How could knowledge this advanced simply disappear? One theory is that the mechanism was a one-off creation, a technological dead end. Another possibility is that many such devices existed but were melted down for their bronze, a fate that claimed the vast majority of ancient metalwork. The knowledge sank, and the mechanism sank with it. Today, researchers have created fully functional replicas of the Antikythera mechanism using data from the 2005 scans. The most famous reconstruction was built by Michael Wright, a former curator at London's Science Museum, who spent decades studying the fragments. His working model contains 72 gears and demonstrates how beautiful the original must have been, a polished bronze and wooden box with dials on the front and back, inscribed with astronomical scales and zodiac symbols.